Hello, listeners. Welcome to Green Plug E-Cycle UAE, the podcast show that is all for the e-waste recycling awareness and for the future sustainability of a great nation, UAE. Here I am back with my fifth podcast episode, where we will be discussing some of these important tips and methods so as to reduce e-waste from our daily lives, and also a pleasant and informative interview session with a brilliant mind. In a time where electronic upgrades seem infinite and we are constantly tempted to buy the new kitchen gadget or computer, it is important that we act as conscious consumers and consider the environment before purchasing new products. While reusing plastic, glass and metals has become the norm, far less thought is given to recycling electronic items. The term electronic waste refers to any electronic device that is no longer wanted or has become obsolete. Electronics classified as e-waste can either be in perfect working condition or be unusable. When e-waste is not recycled properly, this leads to the contamination of air, soil and water, which can then eventually affect human and wildlife. So now, let us listen to an example of how an establishment is molding the future promising engineers by utilizing all the possible means by reducing e-waste, where electronics is the main course taught and trained. And here I am at Unique World Robotics, where the future is engineered. Unique World Robotics, a well-reputed and diversified international educational establishment in Dubai, with their latest branch in Abu Dhabi, who is a pioneer in the coaching of young minds with the latest technological innovations, maintaining the highest level of efficiency and integrity. And with me joins the director of the Unique World Robotics, Mr. Benson Thomas George, who is an electronics and communication engineer, educationalist, and a motivational speaker. Hi, Mr. Benson.
Hey, thank you.
Here, I would like to ask your experience about robotics and a few things related to that.
Okay.
Can you please explain about the activities of Unique World Robotics?
Okay, so talk about Unique World Robotics. We are basically a service providing institute where we give coaching in robotics basically for students from age group of 6 to 18 in school, and for the university students and those professionals who are interested to learn robotics and AI. So our approach is like we start off from scratch, from young, in the sense like in a student of age 6, we try to give them the basics of coding, we try to give them the basics of electronics, mechanical, and we try to make them think like an innovator, where so that in some point of time they will be able to create their own robot. So our tagline is anyone can make their own robot. So if a student is really willing to learn about robotics and AI, yes, they can come down to Unique World Robotics and learn about robotics and create their own robots.
Okay, students, you are welcome to Unique World Robotics at any time. And is there any wastage or something happening during these activities?
Yeah, so as I said, like we are not just having the classes on electronics or mechanical things, but yes, obviously during the classes there can be a little bit of wastage too. So when we started this entire process of the entire curriculum, we thought of it and we tried to minimize the e-wastage. So for that, what we did is that we tried to create a different set of kits, where like these kits will be like a plug and play kind of a thing, where like we will not have much kind of a wastage. But obviously, to be very frank, I cannot say that there is no wastage at all. But like obviously the kits, the equipment that we are using, it can get damaged, yes, and those things obviously will become a e-wastage. And we try to basically we try our maximum, because we have engineers who are very specialized in these domains. So we try to rectify those basic errors and try to reuse it. But if that is not possible, obviously that becomes e-waste stage. But like from our side, it is very minimal. If you take about the e-waste stage, ka thing.
So Unique World is taking all the measures to minimize electronic waste. That's very good and well appreciated. Is it possible to make a robot completely from electronic waste or discarded waste?
Yeah. So as we all know, like regarding robotics, see the components that we use to make a robot. But like when I say the word robot, like people might right now students might come to think about the humanoid robots that you see in movies, or like for the Jitex that we see, the big Titan which was there in the Jitex from 2012 onwards. But the thing is that, for example, a robotic arm, like right now I have a robotic arm over here. So this is also called a robot. So the point is that when students think about this particular concept of robotics, the components which we can be reused from the e-waste stage that we have from the market. Yes, obviously using that we can use robots. For example, during one of the summer camp, our students have made a moving robot with a PVC pipe. So using PVC pipe, they created a car, obstacle identifying robot which moves and which all those functionalities are there. So those sensors, those equipment that we use in a particular robot, if that can be obtained from a e-waste stage, like from any industry, obviously those things can be used.
So the thrown away things
can be used, yes, using
100%
that.
they can be used.
If those things are like usable,
Usable
yeah,
for
in a
us.
sense, yeah, absolutely.
So as Unique World Robotics have doing various kinds of electronic related activities, what kind of response do you receive from students? Are they attracted toward new electronic creations, as you told?
And I'm so happy to say that the students over here in UAE are really excited about robotics, electronics, AI as such, because I should say all the credit goes to the government as such, because the initiative of the government, every year they announce something related to robotics or AI, because last year we have an announcement of like having the first AI university in the world, and our country UAE is the only country to have an AI minister as such. So these kind of activities, even the government have the AI strategy for 2030, 2031 and a centennial plan of 2071. So all these things shows, all these things have created a awareness among parents as well as students. So this awareness will obviously had created that kind of impact in students. So even the small kids, like students of age 6 or 7 or 8, they're ready to learn about robotics and AI. They want to become a robotics engineer or AI engineer. That's their dream. And obviously, yes, when they come to us and when we teach them the basics of the entire robotics and all, they replicate that. They show, they reciprocate that particular kind of excitement into action. So over here we are able to see students making their own creation. So once, even that's our statement also, like we try to teach all these things so that we strongly believe that technology can create a solution for all the problems that we see right now. Even see the COVID period, we saw technology helping the humanity with a lot of things. See, you being from education domain, ma'am, like, see, your education right now is based on technology, obviously. So there are a lot of things that are happening. So even like, as you said, fumigation and all, like robots can be used in industries, it's been used. So this kind of excitement is there in students and they're able to learn it. So what's the best part of this robotics and AI thing is that whatever they learn in the class, they are able to make it there itself. See, for example, if you study, I'm not against any other subject, but the point is that if you study biology, the photosynthesis process as a practical thing, you are not able to do it in the same class. But whatever you're learning in this particular class, they're able to do it at the same time. So that creates the interest, as well as that interest will be there throughout. And there's one more thing I had to add, since you asked about the e-waste. See, actually, why there is e-waste? See, take the case of a student or a family having 2 or 3 kids. They're having n number of electronic gadgets at their home. It can be a tablet, it can be even an electronic toy. So normally students have the interest to dismantle things, and once they dismantle, they might be able to refix it, but sometimes it won't be working. So if some toy or something is if it's not working, it is considered as a waste. So if the students know about how to repair it, so that if we can make this kind of education a mandatory kind with all students, we can easily reduce the e-wastage thing. So what I'm trying to suggest you is that creating awareness is very important. At the very same time, teaching them electronics, teaching them the basics of all these things obviously will help them to repair things. Then we are right now in a culture of throwaway culture. So from that culture we will be able to come back, and so that whatever we have, few things we can repair by them. So the students become they are not dependent on others. They will be independent, and they can create solutions for themselves, and that will help them help them in their thought process also. This will make them think by themselves, create solutions for the problems that see in society. So that is what we try to teach the students of UAE through our programs, man.
It's a must for all the houses. Somebody should be there to rearrange all the things.
But I say that it's not somebody, it should be everybody. Yeah, this will be good. Yeah.
Okay. So, as you told, they are attracted toward creating new electronic things and all. Is it possible to create a fully e-waste free community if we move step by step ahead? Because you are molding the younger generation. So, is it their future where e-waste can be completely avoided?
Yeah, absolutely, ma'am. This is one of the major concerns of the entire world as such. Yeah, I'm so happy that the UAE is taking the initiative. Especially our government is so focused about these kind of things, and since there is a strong leadership and an initiative from the government side, and if there is a proper education among students and also their parents and the entire community, in the sense all the age group, we can as you asked me, step by step we can reduce the e-waste. But to be very very frank, I don't know, I'm not an expert in this particular area of e-wastage. I don't know whether we can come to a 0% of e-waste, but we can reduce it to it will be good if we can reduce it to 0.1% or 1%. If that can happen, that itself creates a lot of impact in the our mother planet. Yeah, so that is the concept that I also need to share with the students. Learn about it. Once you learn about it, you'll be able to create solutions for the problems that we see. That's it.
For a better planet.
Absolutely, for agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Benson, for your valuable words, and surely, as you said, it is a must that at least one person in a family, as you said, should know or must be educated about how to repair a basic default in an electronic equipment, and everyone should be aware of the common factors that causes damage to your electronic equipment. Thus, following these simple methods, every one of us can contribute our part to the planet, and all together let us join e-revolution, where we are the owners of technology. Think twice before you buy an electronic product, and think thrice before you dispose it of. Here are some tips and golden rules to help minimize your e-waste. Number 1. Be a good consumer. Do some research when you are ready to buy a new product. Make sure it's one that won't break easily or become damaged shortly after you purchase it. In other words, look for products likely to have a much longer lifespan, so you won't need to replace it within a few years or even months. It's known that this is a common practice in the electronics industry to make products with shorter lifespans, so more money can be earned in the long run when they break or malfunction. All business tactics. Reevaluate whether you really need a new electronic item or device. If you purchase a new product you don't really need or only require for one-off job, there is a good chance it's going to sit at the back of a drawer or packed away in the shed once you are finished. Instead, see if you can borrow or rent one first. Try searching online for rentals near to you. Consider the second-hand market. The idea of regularly upgrading devices has become all too common in our society. With new models being released regularly, we can feel compelled to purchase the latest version. But it's worth checking the second-hand market or purchasing an item that is pre-loved or refurbished before buying a new one. Extend the life of your electronics. Try to get the most of your products. Keep them clean, avoid overcharging batteries, and use protective covers on tablets and phones. Ensuring new items are used more than once is also a great way to reduce e-waste. Donate or sell working electronics. One of the best ways to stop unwanted electronics items from entering the waste stream is to give or sell them to others who will find a use for them. Not only does this extend their life, it could earn you a bit of extra money in the process. Consider repairing the item if it is broken. If your electronics are no longer working, you can also try repairing them back to their working condition. Search online for a DIY tutorial or take the item to an electrical or computer repair shop. There are a number of licensed e-waste recyclers throughout UAE that may be able to help you. Be sure to check with the product's manufacturer before completing any repairs or part replacements, as this may void the warranty. Most people swap their old phones for a new one every year. Instead of letting it sit in the desk drawer or worse, throwing it in the trash, consider using it for some other purpose. You can keep it in your car and use it as a GPS device or music player. All phones can be converted into universal remote controls or used to monitor security cameras. Organize your electronics. Given the number of electronics we stash away in drawers or cupboards, it's no wonder we forget what items we have in our house. Instead of buying new devices, organize your existing ones to see if you really need to replace them. Know your country's laws about battery disposal. Wherever you are residing, try to know the laws about battery disposal in your country. Rechargeable batteries contain hazardous waste, which is why some of the countries have made it illegal to throw them away in the trash. It's a good news that these type of batteries contain lead, plastic and metal, which can be easily recycled. The main important thing is now storing data. Store your data online. Why use a memory stick or device when you can now easily store significant amounts of data on the internet? There are many different types of cloud storages available online, such as Dropbox and Google Drive free. Some of the paid services will provide a free 30-day trial so you can see what will work best for you. For example, you may be in need of a memory stick, but after organizing all your electronics, you may be surely discovering a new or an old one that you already have in your cupboard. Try to share gadgets, codes and connectors with family members rather than buying the same device or charger multiple times. One last tip is to teach kids about e-waste. Children are our future, and it helps if we can instill within them at a young age a commit to e-waste recycling. This challenge of reducing e-waste is something everyone needs to become aware of and make a commitment to doing. And it starts with understanding why we don't want our used electronics continuously flowing into community landfills. And this is no minor challenge. As technology evolves and keeps improving our electronics, giving us incentives to get rid of our current models for the newest one, there's been a tendency to just throw away these products. This has created a serious global e-waste problem. Reducing e-waste isn't just about eliminating those environmental risks. Minimizing e-waste also helps us to conserve resources and reduces the amount of energy we need to make these products. Recycling parts with e-waste uses considerably less energy than creating new ones. If you are someone that already recycles your e-waste, then it's great that you are already doing your part to reduce e-waste. Now it's time to go to the next step and share your knowledge with other people, family, friends, neighbors, co-workers who may not be aware of the hazards of the e-waste processes. If you have a family member or friend that just got a new smartphone or laptop or simply plans on disposing of their old ones, just talk to them about recycling it with an experienced recycling firm which can make the parts within them available to new users and manufacturers. So, clutch on to Green Plug for an e-waste free tomorrow and thus get groomed for a greener tomorrow. Let us take the decision now before the e-waste dilemma grabs control over us. Reach out to more related podcasts on the Green Plug website www.greenplugewasterecycleuae.com and log on to our Facebook page where you have several platforms to express your views on e-waste creatively, from the DIY e-waste competition to the caption giving contest. Find out, join and participate. Thus enter the Green League for a sustainable tomorrow. Thank you all.